Hola, as they say in sunny Spain. Hi, everyone. It's Saturday. It's 9 o'clock in Old Blighty, and we're live. So it must be another time, another edition, if you like, of the War Room. Hope you're all doing well. Usual miscreants here. So missed last week because I was in sunny Spain. Here you had a good one with Ardy and Dan. So
that's right. You were here 2 weeks ago. I was going to say you missed 2 weeks, but no, you only missed
the first one was fine. Yeah, the second one, I was under orders because it was our last night, not to go anywhere near the computer.
And his phone kept falling over throughout the whole conversation with Herman.
Yeah.
It's like, here.
I know, but that's the problem with using a mobile or cell phone, as you call them. But, yep, we're back. I'm a little bit brown, and it's nice, and it was hot. It was lovely. The mid-80s all week. Just right. Lovely.
What's it there in England now?
Do you know what? Just for you guys, because you keep asking me this, I've converted the temperature back to old-fashioned Fahrenheit. And I can tell you that now, that the temperature over here is 66 degrees. 57.
57.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Freezing. Anyway, hope everybody in the chat's okay. Let's just get the comments up so we can go through them in a minute. How are you guys doing? Jester, what have you been up to since I've been away, you tinker?
Well. I've been busy. I had a good week. We played, I did 13 videos this week. I actually played 3 different war games. I played France 40. I played Phantom Leader, and I did a review on it. And I also played Undaunted Normandy and did a review on it, which came out yesterday. So I've been actually, after having Dan here last week and Art Wolf and them two giving me the buzz about, you don't play any war games. What do you ever do?
I thought something like that might have happened, that somebody had been moaning at you. You had 2 of them. You had it in stereo, yeah?
Yeah. So I said, all right, I'll play a couple war games. Shut up. So it was good. It was a good week. I got a lot of stuff.
Busy week. I see you sent a screenshot to Dan from knowing him he's here so he could get all the blooming games in.
Because he doesn't know what he's. Yeah,
nothing need more be said there. Nate, how are you, my friend? How are you getting on?
Doing great. Life is pretty good. And this week I thankfully was able to play a little bit. After 2 weeks ago, didn't play anything, so I was kind of catching up. I finished a playthrough of the Dark Summer, and then decided to go back to the ancient world and playing some. Speaking of our subject today, a solitaire game, Rome Incorporated.
But the subject is new to wargaming or solitaire wargaming. Try these. So I'm not sure if that. I mean, I could have picked loads of games, but I'm not sure if that one is a good one for somebody that A, hasn't played a war game, or B, hasn't played a solitaire war game. Not sure. Your thoughts will be greatly appreciated on that. But yes, sorry.
I've played this several times. I enjoy it. It's one of those games I can just set up and just start playing and enjoy it, not have to go through the rules a lot. I'm particularly excited because the next game that should be coming out later this year is the sequel.
Yes.
And that's on the late Roman Empire. So that's really my period. That's my time that I like. So I'm looking forward to that. But I did get in this week though. This is Jezza's fault for, I don't know if you've seen any of his videos that he's been doing lately. He's been doing on a particular game that's in my time period that I really like. And I commented and asked him about it, and he responded, thankfully. And so I decided to go buy called Invasions.
Ooh,
Now I have heard some.
Yeah.
When it first came out, there was a lot of stuff going about how bad the rules were and this, that, and the other, and the
This
counter.
might have the accolation of the most errata in a rule book ever. And when it came out, however, the new rule book that's out has fixed it. And so Jezza told me when, because I asked him, and I made a comment on his video asking about it. What's the problem with the game? Is it the rule book, that the bad rule book, or is it there's just too much in the game? And he just said that there was, he thought, at least for him at that time, there was too much going on. So I thought, okay, well, the rules have been cleaned up, so I'll try it out. So I was excited to get it.
The big old box. But
nice. Yeah,
because today's subject is, as we're talking about, solitaire, not solo friendly, but pure solitaire games. If you're new to solitaire wargaming, here's some suggestions, and I'm hoping to get some from the chat as well, because especially people like Phoenix Knight, his view should be particularly interesting because he's come over and plays his sorry, I keep saying it as well, solitaire wargames. So it'd be interesting to see how he's getting on. But talking about that, let's say hello to some peeps.
Before we get to our peeps, Ruff, can I just interject something really quick? This is kind of an important moment in our history. Does everyone realize what today is? It is the 6-month anniversary from when Nate took over for Tony. So his probation is officially over. He is now officially on the show.
No, I thought we discussed this and we was going to go for 8 months because we weren't sure.
Oh, was it 8 months? Oh,
no,
that's
6 months, fine. Okay, that's good. No, I'm joking. Of course, that's brilliant. 6 months, crikey.
6 months.
Bye, guys.
Probation is officially over. I will say this.
Lock and load.
Yes, right. Congratulations, Nate. Good job. You've done.
Thank you.
Well, we really miss Tony, and he was a great addition to the crew. I am now, like, when I go to email you guys the link, I don't think Tony, I think you. So you're officially now, when I think of the War Room, it's Ruff, me, and you. So congratulations, Nate.
I appreciate it, guys. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I'm looking forward to even more fun in the future.
That's it. That's it now. That's it. Don't get any funnier. But what about come back from Spain, and I'm hoping to get on with Skies Above Britain again next week. Get those couple of guys out of hospital, hopefully. But I have been playing a solitaire game. That's on the table now. Legendary Encounters Aliens, one of my favourite games, not war games. So playing that over the weekend on with Todd, sitting there in great fun, losing as always, and getting back to Skies Above Britain on the new week. So as we were, Charles. Yes, it is evening here. Right, well, all the people from my country are here. Well, they would say they were, Scots and the Welsh and the Irish. That's they tend to be their own thing. Same as the English.
Don't cause another civil war, Ruff.
No, I won't. Talking about that, getting on with that book, great. It's up to the First and Second Bishop Wars.
Oh, nice.
I just got this. The wife, literally, when we went to the logo screen in our show, she's like, "You got a package," and it's from Herman. Sent me something.
Herman. All right.
Oh.
Hiya, Matt, Marty. There's Phoenix.
Thanks, Herman. I got your package, man. Thank you.
Savannah. There was a battle there, wasn't there?
Couple of them.
Yeah.
Go Dogs.
Thank you, David. Groucho. Michael and Christoph. And Meandering
Mike.
William. So it's good to see everybody here.
Got lots of people today.
I did miss you all.
50 right now.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is. It's wonderful. Oh,
Tom,
We had some good shows. I would love to hear your comments about what we talked about last week, Ruff, when we get a chance, when you're done.
yeah,
Because
I mean,
would
when I
love to
get
hear
down,
what
there's
Jeff-
tons of them. Coye, William, oh, sorry, I've done that. Richard.
Richard, hey, good to see Richard again.
Trying to see Charles, who's everybody I missed. Nordic, cheeky, very cheeky in their
Nordic.
chats, very cheeky. Just as cheeky in our Friday nights with Tony as well. Oh, played Great
What
Battles
game
of
did he
History
get?
last night. Finishing up. Brilliant. Enjoying ourselves. I'm knocking all shades of paint out of him. My heavy cavalry have come in.
Oh, he got.
And you got mullered with, he's like cavalry, just, but his heavy cavalry's coming in now. So, might be payback. There
Nordic.
he is.
Herman.
Yay.
Well, thank you, Herman.
You've been certified now. Yes, it is.
Just
It's a big
quick-
moment. It is. It's
Everybody else, yeah.
a big moment for
Oh,
us.
Hey, designer of
Hey,
World of War.
hey, how you doing, buddy?
And sorry, Keith, I forgot the name of the science fiction one. But anyway, hope you're getting them soon. The World at War.
Oh, here we go. I like Simon's comment up there. Nate brings a nice intellectual balance to the farce.
Stop it. He said, I better get out of his book room. Stop it.
Ever since
Simon.
I have noticed, ever since Nate joined, we've gone into more heavy, deep discussions. Before we used to be all fun and fluff. Now we're
And
like
food, and
actually
food.
thinking about things, and wow, it's
No, yeah.
And look at that. People come and they want to be part of it.
yeah, that's
Why
true.
I don't know. Got nothing better to do. But I'm pleased you're here. We love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it. Remember that.
That's right, Norik. Yes. Someone to talk about classical antiquity. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's gone a bit highbrow since he's joined. We're not the
Do you want me to tone it down? Do you want me to go down a few notches here?
No, I think people like it. We're now one of
That's
the
the way
broad
you are, and you'll be fine. Yes, we've had a lot of good reports about you, and there was only about 10 or 12 comments and posts about you
they were
negatively. So,
Well, I think we only got about 15 posts, didn't we?
yeah, that's true. And 12 were negative. So maybe we should reevaluate this. So, Ralph, our discussion last week, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because, again, I'm not trying to say bad things about it, but I feel that there's too much stuff in the boxes that we as wargamers will never get to. There's too many scenarios. There's too many counters. If I play a game, I'm lucky to get it out and play it once, let alone like 40 times. If there's 40 scenarios, how many games are we going to play 40 times in our lifetime?
Never. I mean, there's the opposite thing. It's why pay $100 for a game that has a map, a rule book, and a counter sheet in it. But people do. I'd rather have too much. This is my personal view, and it probably, I don't know, I haven't seen all the show from last week. My personal view is I love it all. I mean, things like SPQR, the amount of stuff in there. I'm probably not going to play every single thing in there, but to have it is great. And when it came out, it wasn't a bad price. There was a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, we could talk about in another show that thing, and the games that are great value for money. The tri-pack, tons of stuff. Am I going to play them all? I doubt it, but it's nice to have it. The Death Valley. I could go on, but I'd rather.
There's a lot more that goes into it. There's design time because the designer has to create these scenarios. There is delay in producing the game because we have to play test the scenarios. So a lot of extra effort and work go into, like, the reason this came up was two weeks ago, Herman was on. He was substituting for you. Herman Lutman did. And he did a pretty good job. Not bad for a designer.
Yeah.
And he was mentioning how hard it is to create a game with 18 scenarios and to get it play tested and to monitor all 18 different scenarios and how much extra work that was. And I was like, that's true. I mean, it's got to be a painstaking and why there's errata, because, okay, every time they change the scenario. Now, did I change scenario 6 or did I change scenario 8? I don't remember now. And all that. If there was less in the boxes, you would have less errata, less delays, less problems,
So
etc.
by less in the box, you don't actually mean component-wise. You actually mean scenarios, generally speaking.
Scenarios, or just how much you're going to play the game. Like the DVG, I just played Phantom Leader. There's like 8 different campaigns. I'm not going to play one, maybe 2. I'm never going to play all 8 scenario campaigns in that.
I might have done back in the days when my shells looked a little bit different. I might have played that.
Oh, like mine?
Well, my shells were nothing to write home about, I tell you, because every time I'm naughty, he'll say something, he gets the photo up. So it's,
it's too late. You've already.
I might have played Corsair Leader, a loads of times. I'd rather have too much than not enough choice.
No, I agree. I mean, they could put and the thing was, Dan pulled out a box off the shelf, and it was the Talon expansion.
Yeah.
Called Talon 1000. And you know why it's called a Talon 1000?
Got 1,000 scenarios in it.
It's got 1,000 scenarios
in
it.
You're joking.
Correct. No. It's got 1,000 scenarios in it.
I mean, I think the comment here, tastes have matured over the years. He's shaped his collection to fewer games that he plays many times rather than having 500 games you play once. I think part of that answer is exactly what he said there. Is there's some gamers, they only buy a few games and they play those to death, and other people, they love a broad picture.
I think I love variety.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Look at Patrick. He plays 2 or 3 games, plays them well, knows them inside out, but that's all he plays because he loves them, and that's what he does. Commands and Colors. What's the other one? He does great campaigns of the American Civil War.
Campaigns of the American Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. But I can't be like that. I'm sorry. I'm a bit of a bit of this. Let's try this one over there. What's that one taste like? It's
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, we're all different. If we're all the same,
I'm just saying, if there was less stuff in the boxes, they would be cheaper. We're not going to play 80% of what's in the box anyways.
I'm not.
Why spend all that extra money, time, and effort to design 18 scenarios when there's only going to be a handful of people in the world that's going to play all 18?
Well, so an example of a game that does have less components, this was back in the day, France 1944 from Victor Games. I remember it's in the designer notes for the Compass version, the designer signature edition when they did it. And I think Mark has talked about it on a show. Is that was it only had 1 map, rule book, counter sheet, and it was the worst selling game from Victor Games. It sold something like 15,000 copies. So like today, that's a huge success. But back then that was horrible because people felt that when they pick up the box, there's like nothing in it. And they didn't feel they were getting their money's worth, even though it's actually a really solid game. So when they did the new version, they put a mounted map in there. So it felt like the box was heavier and it felt like there was more value, even though it's the same game. So, yeah.
I mean, if you've got, great case in point is Panzer Grenadier Eastern Front with the scenario book as thick as that. It's got 200 odd scenarios, terrible, and they're mostly unbalanced. Great for solo play, and I use the correct term there. Great for solo play because you play the defender and the others are trying to attack, so it's great for solo. But yeah, I'd rather have balanced scenarios, but that takes time, isn't it?
It takes time. It takes play testers. It takes a lot of effort by design, the design team that goes into this. I mean, it's just a lot of extra stuff that,
and I'm glad
90% of the people aren't going to see.
I'm glad they do it. For me, that's
Yeah.
what I think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
That's very,
again,
that's very hard to get hold of.
I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong to having stuff in the box. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, if there was less stuff in the box, I would feel like I'm getting. How do I put it?
I think I know where. I think I know
Less
where you're
stuff in the box. It's more manageable for
Sure.
me. I'm not sorting through 1,000 counters. I'm not
Sure.
sorting through 6 maps. I only need 1 map. I only need these 20, 50 counters or whatever.
I think
The good thing is, sorry, I was going to say the good thing is if I decide to play like something like GBOH, which has got a shed load of stuff, I'm sitting there thinking, and part of the enjoyment is, what should I play? Should I play a little one or should I play a bigger one? Yeah, I've got a bit more time. So, and I'm looking through the maps, looking through the scenarios, and you think, yeah, if the choice wasn't there, if there were 3 or 4 scenarios, I'm not sure, because a lot of the enjoyment for me is sorting out what I'm playing, setting it up, putting the counters out. The thing and Warfighter, which will probably get mentioned more than once today. A lot of people don't like the fact you have to sort your squad out and equip them and arm them and spend your points. That for me is one of the best parts of the game, because you're sitting there with 2 big boxes of cards and you're thinking, now what shall I give these guys and who shall I buy and all that. Mm-hmm. So it's different horses for courses. Sorry, Nate, you were going to say.
Well, I was going to say, I think I understand what Jester is saying, and I'm going to see if I can repeat what you said and see if it makes sense to me and then to you. Is that it's better to have a game that has a tighter focus on either a single scenario or a couple of scenarios, so that there's a less chance of errata and a less chance of having a mediocre gaming experience, because you might have 1 or 2 good scenarios and then 16, horrible, just meh ones. And you would rather have the 1 or 2, 3 good experiences in the box as opposed to having, a ton of mediocre crap.
This game is a case in point. This game is a case in point. Flying Colours. They are historically written scenarios about specific battles with specific ships. So they've got to be, you're only using the information from history to write the scenario. Mm-hmm. So, and okay, you have to sort of muck about a bit for gameplay purposes, but the amount of ships were there, the names were right, where they came from is all sort of accurate to what they can do. So these sort of games, the more the merrier.
So my we shouldn't take the whole show up because we talked about this.
It's like I was there last week. Where's Hardy and Dan gone?
What I talked about was France 40, where they have 1 sickle cut scenario, they have 1 Duncan scenario, and they have 1 crossover where you have both of them combined and play both of them. And that's 3 scenarios, and they're small, 2 small and 1 big. So it gives you some variety. I think that's the perfect design. If France 40 would have come out with like 12 scenarios, I'd be like, that's kind of dumb. It's overkill.
You can't, can you? Because France 40 was set on the first push through and then the retreat back to Dunkirk. You can't do a Mediterranean scenario in there, for instance, because it wasn't France 40. You're tied by what the history was. And basically that was it, wasn't it? The BEF and from my point of view came across, pushed forward a bit, and the Germans just pushed us back along with the French, and that's it. That's the game. That's why it's reasonably priced as well. It wasn't a bad price.
$35, $40, something like that.
Yeah. So because that's it, and that's fine. You know what you're getting.
But see, I'm in agreement with like what Gem Cutter says here, that I used to be much more of a gamer where I want a flavor of a lot of different things. And so I play for a little bit and move on to something else. But I've more and more becoming this, where I want to understand the game a lot. And so you have to take time. You have to spend time with it. And if there's, if there's like 40 scenarios, eventually you just burn out and like, okay, I gotta move on.
Yeah, we've had this discussion, and we just, how to play a game and then how to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to play it a few times. Unfortunately, in my situation, we can't. I move on, something new, A, because I want to, because it's, what's this? And B, because it keeps variety in on the channel, because that's what people, I think, want. So yeah, I'm sort of caught between
I just would love to find out, like, if there was a study done, like how many people play, like if you get a game and you put it on the table and you play through a scenario, and then you keep it on the table and play through another scenario, and then you keep it on the table and play through, like, 2 or 3 times, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, whatever, not like a year or 2. I'm not talking like that. I'm just saying, like you did for the lamps going out, right? You definitely played that to your heart's content for about a month and a half, maybe even 2 months.
Oh yeah, Death in the Trenches.
Right?
Yeah,
I would love to find out how many people, like what percentage of people do that, as opposed to what me and Ruff do. Play a scenario, boom! Wow, I got to get the new game out.
Yeah,
terrible. We're like kids. And John, by the way, it's about solitaire, single player games rather than playing two-handed, because I know me and Jester love them, but and Nate is coming over, but I just want to have a chat about what would you recommend to somebody that fancies a solitaire game but hasn't got a clue about it, because there are some crunchy solitaire games out there as well, maybe not for the first timer. So yeah, that's what it's about, John. Thanks.
But no, I mean, Jester, going back to your comment, yeah, I mean, I think part of that, I would be interested to see that study if that was done.
Yeah, I would love to find out. Like, is it 50-50 or is it like 2%? Like, keep a game out for more than one sitting.
Right.
I mean, it's a different world, especially with the younger generation, and I understand that the younger generation, they have the attention span of a gnat, literally a gnat.
When it comes to this stuff and the non-wargame stuff, I am a goldfish. It's terrible, and it must be non-YouTubers who are the same as me. Get the games in. It's great to get a new game, play it once, maybe twice, stick it away, get another game out, and just enjoy that experience of playing different games, different eras, different mechanics, different rules, different map designs.
Right. Right.
I think part of that.
And I appreciate. And I want people to get the wrong impression. I used last week, and I'll use this example again. Like, I was playing Hex Export, which comes with like 20 different character classes and 20 different races and a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, great, that's awesome. I love that because it gives you lots of variety to build your character. But
there's no scenario.
I'm not going to play this game 20 times to play all the characters. There's no way in hell I'm playing this 20 times.
One of the reasons being it takes about 8 hours to play.
Minimum 8 hours to play.
Yeah. But what a great game.
So, I mean, there is advantages to having this stuff in the box. It's just like, is it wasted on most people?
I would say, I think part of the answer to your question is, I'm curious of how many people, like, where they're playing the game. What I mean by it is, like, for instance, I have a separate table that I play games on that's different than my dining room table. And I wonder how many people actually, like, have the time and space to leave a game set up so they can actually dig into it, or whether or not, because of where life is, that they only can have a certain number of hours to play.
I'm lucky. I used to have 2 tables. One is now full of bloody games, boxes. And the other one I'm lucky enough to have set up and I can leave a game out unless you get a cat.
Well,
don't get a cat.
He has come. He knows the rules now. He does know the rules.
Good.
He goes near the table. I go, no. And he goes, and wanders off, So yeah, he's learned. But yeah, I'm lucky enough to have that. And not everybody has.
Well, I just wanted to get your, your thoughts from last week, because I know you missed it and we missed you. And
we're
glad you made it home safe. So that was good.
Yeah. and it was a fantastic place, and we're even going to probably go back there next year. Unfortunately, Mrs. R wants to take the whole family, the outlaws and all that, and okay, so we might go back. But it was a beautiful place, and I enjoyed it. And I'm sorry I missed Saturday. I was thinking about it because we were out having dinner. That weirdly, sorry, I'm not going off the thing talking about my holiday. But the last Saturday, I wasn't allowed to go near the internet and go on the show just because it was our last night, and we were going to go out for a nice meal. It was the only night it chucked it down with rain. It was, but. Still a good night, and because of the rain, we found on our last night this little bar that's been run by a guy from South London, who was I think originally from Nigeria by his accent, but him and his wife was an artist. She had their paintings around, but he was selling top quality glasses of Spanish wine, and it was just a great end, supping on me and me red wine, supping on these. He said, try this one, and and it's like, oh, brilliant. So yes, sorry. That's why I couldn't come on. But I did. I kept thinking, I wonder if they're getting on all right, and all that.
Well, Jester, I'm glad you asked it because I was curious on Ruff's thoughts on last week's subject. So I'm glad you asked.
Yeah. I mean,
it's always good to find out, and just hear what because maybe we missed something. Now we've had another week to think about it, and everything. So, and we had a really good show with Herman who came on and. We talked a lot of game design. We talked, what was I'm trying to remember what the show topic was with him, Nate. What was it? Was your week?
It was.
I was there, remember?
I'm trying to remember now.
Oh, you were there. That's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's right. I keep forgetting you were there. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
All I remember is this.
Yeah. I know, slippy table. I was trying to balance it. Yeah,
I know. We were looking at the state of wargaming and the top games that were being sold by multiple companies.
And I tell you what, they're already putting stuff in the chat, which is great for Solitaire games. A lot of them are great, fantastic games. But what we want is games that might appeal to somebody that's never done one. And things like RAF and Combat might be they're great games. Don't get me wrong. Got them both. They might be a little bit too out of the reach of somebody that's never played a solitaire game. So, but great suggestions. We'll get to you when we do that proper.
Should we talk about the subject that I wanted to talk about, the bad thing? Or do we want to not get into that now?
I was trying to hopefully you forget, but anyway, all right.
Oh, he ain't gonna forget.
Buckle in, ladies and gents.
No, like you said, this is not going to be a rant. This is not going to be a rave. I just got a text from my buddy not too long ago, a couple hours ago. We were out for dinner from my wife, or from a buddy of mine, while I was having lunch with my wife. And basically he was like, dude, GMT can go fly a blankety blank, blank, blank. And I was like, dude, what's wrong? He's like, I ordered during their sale. I ordered a few games from their sale. And now I just got an email from them that A, they don't have my game, and B, it's not on order and I can't get it. And I was like, what game was it? He was like, I Napoleon. He's like, I've been waiting for 2 weeks for them to ship it to me. And now not only are they not shipping it to me, they don't even have the game and they wait 2 weeks to email it to me. And I was like, okay, that is pretty not good. And I think it should be discussed and let people know about this situation. I personally went on the GMT website. Now, I'm going to say this first. I love GMT. I love everything they do. I pre-order all their games. I P500 most of their games. I own most of their collection. So if I didn't enjoy their games, I would not care about this. But this year is the first year that they had very few games for sale during their sale. It was very depressing. Like, I had a couple games I had in mind. Oh, I didn't get them. No, not in stock, not in stock, not in stock, not in stock. And I know a lot of people were very upset with GMT this year. Very, very upset with them.
Well, I'm
Much
glad,
as I love them.
because I was on holiday when the sale, most of the sale was on. I did look through, but luckily enough, I've already bought the blooming stuff from them, so there was nothing for me that I wanted to buy, unfortunately. So maybe I shouldn't P500 something. But the problem is, if I hadn't have paid 500 I Napoleon, which I wanted, and then went to the sale, I probably wouldn't have got it. So there's pros.
I don't know if it was the different time frame or if they had too many sales earlier or what the problem was, but they sold out of. I don't know if they're just printing as many as they P500 now, and they only have like a few extra copies that they sell. I don't know what the deal was, but almost every game that was there was sold out. It was like, I finally found, I will tell you what I ordered. I got Space Core and the expansion. That's what I got. And I had the maneuver expansion. Those are the three things that I ordered. That was it. I was like, wow, that is a pretty bad sale. Really bad sale.
Yeah, I got Norman Conquest, so I dipped my toe into the Men of Iron series.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. It's not complicated. It's another fun game, and it does solo, using the term correctly. It's not a solitaire game. It's you can solo it pretty easily.
I haven't got it yet, so I haven't gotten any email of that stuff. So I got that and some counter trays, but I think
I normally order. Yeah, I didn't this year. I got
yeah. I think with I Napoleon, I think it's the same thing of what happened with Atlantic Chase, is that they weren't expecting it to just go gangbusters, and not so much like Atlantic Chase became super popular quickly with war gamers, but I Napoleon became popular with board gamers. Period. Like, it became one of the top games on Board Game Geek.
I think it got up to number 3.
Yeah. So I'm sure they probably no sooner than that happened, they asked for more copies to be printed, because it's so much. So many people wanted to get it.
I think if they would have said to themselves, okay, we're going to have our sale in September, so the games that we order in, say, February, March, and April, like, we should order extra of them, because they're probably a lot of people are going to try to get them on the sale. So we should order some extra copies. I'm just saying, for next year,
sure,
they should try to think about. There was several of those games. I know that several games I was like, no, I don't need to P500 because I'll just get it on the sale. Nope, sold out. Nope, you're not getting that game.
Thing is, from a business point of view, I mean, P500, though it's cheap, isn't as cheap as the sale, because you're getting half off, and the P500 isn't normally 50% off.
Yeah.
So from a business point of view, it makes sense not to buy stuff in to sell at 50% when you're not going to make that much money. It might cost me more bother than it is. And as somebody said, they've got temperature controlled, climate controlled warehouse, so they don't get all that sort of dampness on them. Yeah, I know it's a funny thing. I'm so glad I didn't, because I would have been disappointed if.
Well, let's be honest. They wouldn't sell the game at half off if they weren't still making money. So if they know this, then they should order more copies of
maybe
these.
They're only doing it because it didn't sell so well, and they've got many copies they want to get rid of for the new patch. Something that's how I would work.
Because there's a bunch that's at the printer right now.
Yeah.
And
so they want to make room in the warehouse, but they've had a good year by the sound of it. So good luck to them. There wasn't a lot around to put in the
Well, they sold out of Mr. President. That was gone.
Yeah.
They sold out of I Napoleon. They should realize these crossover / non-traditional wargamings is selling more. We should order more of them.
Well,
Plum Island War, another example.
Or do a bigger second reprint.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure for something like I Napoleon, I'm not sure it'd be. I mean, I'm not sure even anybody could have predicted that game would have taken off.
This is all business 101. Like, you can't get people interested the second time for something. Like, when a game comes out and it's popular, everyone wants the game. If they got to wait a year, they don't care about the game anymore. They want the game when it's super popular.
So I was just answering Rob there. I've got exactly the same, mate.
You know, I would have gotten Next Door Ran if it was on the it wasn't eligible for the sale because it had just come out.
Yeah.
But I have Next Door Poland, so I'll take that.
Yeah, good.
I was interested in getting some of the Next War, but they weren't available. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to get them then, because the one that I wanted was just released, which is another dumb rule that they have with this. Oh, you can't use the games that just came out last month, but you can get the ones that came out 2 months ago. It's like, seriously, that's kind of a dumb rule. If it's available, then you should give it to anyone, the P500.
I agree, Ian.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just something that happened, and they'll, you know, GMT it seems is just continuing to grow, and they are, you know, the nicheness of war games is growing and growing and growing, and which is exciting because more and more
which is
people
good, but they're also plopping in games that sort of cross over or a little bit away from war games to bring other people. And from a business point of view, you've got to, haven't you? You've got to increase your customer base by bringing in more variety, and that's good for me because things like Prime Minister and Mr. President and I Napoleon are games that are great because they're not war games as such, but they're great games. So, in my opinion, yeah. So,
well,
more power to their elbow.
I'm glad more and more people are coming to GMT because then, you know, they do great war games, and so they'll continue to do those, even for those of us who are really into those. But then do other games, like you said, like Mr. President, I Napoleon, things like that.
Because I play anything. I like me Ameritrash. I don't like that term because it makes it sound like the game sort of less than it is. But you know what I mean. You know, the dice chucking monster stuff. I love it. Not so much a fan of Euros. Doesn't mean to say they're no good. It's just me. I just love me Euro trash.
You just haven't been in your Euro you like. That's it.
Could be. Anyway, we've been yakking on for 44 minutes. And we need to do our stuff. Who wants to go first?
Oh,
don't you think? Because then we've got
plenty of time.
Yeah, we can do that.
An hour or so to talk about Solitaire games. So get your, think about. Don't put them in the chat now. Have a think about if you were trying to convince somebody to play a Solitaire game, a war game. What would you suggest to wet their baby's head with that type of game? I mean, my suggestions, I haven't put down some because I haven't played them. These are all games I've played. So have a think about that. Right.
Go ahead, Ruff.
Do you want me to do mine? Get mine out of the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't like the way you said that. Get mine out of the way. That's charming. Right. So 14th of September. We start way back. AD 81. Something for you, Nate. Domitian became emperor of the Roman Empire upon the death of his brother Titus. There we go. And in that sort of a few hundred years, well, quite a few hundred years later, in 629, Emperor Heraclius,
correct,
enters Constantinople in triumph after his victory over the Persian Empire. So that's for you. That's all you're getting because we're now whizzing forward to 1759. The earliest
British history. Here we go.
That's right.
No. To be fair, I mean, you get
the "God Save the King" line going.
No, you got to remember.
I'm not in charge.
We had a lot of it. So 1759. This isn't about war history, but it's interesting. The earliest dated board game in England was sold on this day by its inventor, John Jeffries. I know there are older games, but this is like a proper boxed, sold in a shop game, 1759, designed by John Jeffries from his house in Chapel Street, Westminster. The game was called A Journey Through Europe, or The Play of Geography. So that must be worth a few bob if you can get a copy of that.
Wow.
1763. 1763, Seneca warriors defeat British forces at the Battle of Devil's Hole during Pontiac's War. Pontiac's War was launched in 1763 by a loose confederation of Native Americans who were dissatisfied with British rule in the Great Lakes region. Why? I can't think why. Following the French and Indian War of 1754 to 1763, warriors from numerous nations joined in an effort to drive British soldiers and settlers out of the region. The war is named after Ottawa leader Pontiac, the most prominent of the many Indigenous leaders in the conflict. And then here we go, 1782, American Revolutionary War. Review of the French troops under General Rochambeau by General George Washington at Verplancks Point, New York. Now, Rochambeau was a French Royal Army officer and nobleman. This is why we didn't win. They've been employing these Frenchies. Was a French Royal Army officer and nobleman who played a critical role in the Franco-American victory at the Siege of Yorktown in 1781. During that war, he was commander-in-chief of the Expedition Particulière, the French expeditionary force sent to help the Americans fight against British forces. You see what I mean? Underhand. So 1812, talking about the French, Napoleonic Wars. The French Grande Armée enters Moscow. The fire of Moscow begins as soon as Russian troops leave the city. And then we've got 1814, the Battle of Baltimore. The poem Defense of Fort McHenry is written by Francis Scott Key about this battle. The poem is later used as lyrics of the good old what?
Star Spangled.
Yes, the Star Spangled Banner.
Speaking of which, what do you guys call yours? Your national anthem. What do you call it?
It's the national anthem, God Save the King.
God Save the King.
God Save the King. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
Now it's God Save the King. 1852.
That could be different.
They're not different. It's I think it's a German tune, to be quite honest. I think I've heard it, yeah.
God Save the Kaiser.
No, it's nothing to do with that at all. I mean, the tune is just a tune. I think some other guy put the yeah.
Well, and then we stole it for our own song.
Do you use it as well?
Yeah, we use the lyric, the music,
tune,
God Save the King or God Save the Queen to I just forgot it. There's an American patriotic song that it's used.
So you can't let go, can you? You can't let go. After all these years, you still got to hold a tie with the motherland, you know. Anyway, where are we? Oh, 1852.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Ah, right.
Country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty.
Hold on, I've got to go like this now. Right. 1852. The Duke of Wellington, Victor at Waterloo, died today in 1852, aged 83. He was known as the Iron Duke and was Tory Prime Minister, and Tory is Conservative, from 1828 to 1830. Duke of Wellington is a hereditary title derived from the Somerset village of Wellington and was created for Arthur Wellesley, first Marquis of Wellington. Then we're back with you guys. 1862, American Civil War, the Battle of South Mountain, part of the Maryland campaign is fought. Maryland. Right, okay, gotcha. So then, whiz forward. I'm joking, of course. Whiz forward to 1941. An escort aircraft carrier deploys for combat for the first time as the Royal Navy's HMS Audacity puts to sea to escort her first convoy It is the first time that an aircraft carrier had been committed directly to convoy defense, and the first operation by aircraft carrier against Axis forces attacking convoys in the Atlantic Ocean since mid-September 1939. 1942, in the first US strike from Adak, the US Army Air Force fly the first, this freaked me out, fly the first combined zero altitude strike by fighters and bombers of World War II. 12 B-24 Liberators, not a small plane, 14 P-38s and 14 P-39 Air Cobras, 38s the Lightnings, attack Japanese forces at Kiska, flying 240 miles at wave top level and attacking an altitude of 50 feet. They sink 2 Japanese ships and set 3 on fire and destroy 3 midget submarines, several buildings, and 12 Japanese float plane fighters, and kill, unfortunately, over 200 Japanese soldiers. There's always death and destruction in war. But what a thing to do, flying at, can you imagine a B-52, a B-24 flying at 50 feet? Good grief.
Stick your hand out and you're in the water.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. The 1943, the Allied Northwest African Air Force conducts large strikes against German ground forces around the Salerno beachhead off Salerno. An American Liberty ship becomes a total loss after a German guided bomb hits her. And on the same day, but overnight, 1943, US Army Forces transport aircraft drop 1,900 more US Army paratroopers of the 82nd Airborne Division into Salerno beachhead. And incidentally, if you watch me and Tony do our Friday nights, I think the next one we are going to do is Salerno 43. So it'll be, I know I've got a lot of them, but that'll be my first Simonich 40X
Isn't that terrible, buying a whole series and not playing it?
Yeah, but this is it.
This is great that they have 48 scenarios that you're never going to play.
I don't care. I've got them. Anyway, where are we? Oh, yes, 1944 now. 28 Royal Air Force Avro Lancaster bombers operating from Yagodnik airfield in the Soviet Union attacked the German battleship Tirpitz in Altenfjord, Norway, with 12,000-pound tall boy bombs. I've seen one of them. They're huge. They score only one hit, but it is so badly damaged Tirpitz. It's so badly damaged Tirpitz that it never was never again seaworthy. 1944, a couple more. Maastricht becomes the first Dutch city to be liberated by Allied forces, and in the same year, 1944, Operation Dragoon, the Allied invasion of southern France, concludes. Penetrating as far as 120 miles inland, carrier aircraft from British and American escort aircraft carriers supporting the operation have lost 16 aircraft in combat, all to German ground fire. I must punctuate these better. And 27 to non-combat causes while conducting armed reconnaissance flights, targeting German ground forces and providing observer services for naval gunfire. The escort carriers never come under attack from German forces. So lots happening in the Second World War and sort of 18th century stuff going on. But there we are. That's today. 14th of September, or as we say.
That was September. A lot of stuff, man. That was a lot of stuff. Wow.
I did look at planes, but there's only crashes. I didn't want to do them. Anyway. Sorry.
Nate, or Ruff, did you know, and we should let you know, your buddy here, Nate, took over for you while you were gone.
Well, did you do some history for us?
Excellent job. Yeah, he did a really good job.
Thank you so much. Glad to keep it going. See, they would have got upset. I know.
That's right. Got to keep the tradition going.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do mine real quick. And today is I don't know. I was thinking about this, and then I saw this book that I have and enjoy, and I thought I'm going to share it today. And that is King John from King John by Mark Morris. Good book. Great historian. The story of King John and the Magna Carta and all that is just, I find it really fascinating. It's also quite ironic and in some cases funny, in that, you know, the man who he never was meant to be king, and he ends up as king because Richard dies, and his father didn't even want him to be the king, even though he was the beloved son of Eleanor of Aquitaine, and he becomes the king, and he's horrible. He's taxing people, and he's doing everything that he was not supposed to do towards the aristocracy.
As you're probably going to mention, that because he peed off so many of his barons, they just said, enough. We want it in writing. This is what we want in writing. We still got that, by the way. The Magna Carta is still here.
Yeah. Well, and I like too is that he starts to really rain on the nobles. They did the same thing with all the peasants, and the nobles didn't care. But now when he started on the nobles, now they care.
They care now,
of course.
And so he tries to get away with it, and he needs money, and he needs foreign support and everything, and he goes to war against the French with the help of the Germans and loses at the Battle of Bavoin in 1214, and then is forced to sign the Magna Carta in 1215, and then immediately decides, I'm going to ask the Pope to help me out, and the Pope gets the Magna Carta annulled, which didn't work. And so there's a barons' revolt, and the barons invite the French king's son, the Dauphin, to come and invade England. And there is a successful invasion of England in 1216. And Louis takes over London, takes over the south part of England. And it's the only time really that the French have actually controlled England. And then the barons realize we don't like the French here. And he's
as opposed to the Normans, which weren't really French. Yes.
Correct. Yeah. Vikings.
From Normandy, which was Northland. Sorry.
The funny thing about I found to be very ironic about John, and it's described in this book very well, is that John starts his reign with a kingdom that stretches from Scotland all the way to the Pyrenees in Spain, and he ends up as a rebel running around trying to survive. And he's out in the Wash, in this big swampland of England, and the cart that holds the royal jewels and the royal crown stumbles, and the crown falls into the swamp and is consumed by the swamp, and the crown is lost. The crown of England's lost, and no sooner than that happened, John dies of dysentery.
That's not a good way to go.
Supposedly he had a very hearty meal, and it paid him back in dysentery. This is a really fascinating book. Great historian. He's done a book on Edward I as well as the Norman conquest. But I really enjoy this one about the Magna Carta. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing that, Nate. Normally you do good ones, but this time I'm not so sure. Woo, that's a crazy one. Let me share my screen with Ruff here.
Take no notice.
That's right.
Because it's English history. Because it's English history gets the ump, you see.
Oh, that's right.
Before I start, I would like to say hello to Tony and also Stuka Joe, who's in the US. I saw a post earlier that he was in the US, in Massachusetts or New York or something.
Manhattan.
There you go, New York. So,
did I miss Tony?
Stuka, welcome, Stuka, and welcome, Tony. Thanks for coming by, guys. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'll share that now.
There we go. So, number 250 this week.
Did you plan this out?
I did not plan it out at all. I did not plan it out.
Because he played it. It's got to get this. Got to get it.
It's a good one. I really like it. This is the first edition one. Very similar, obviously, just a different box cover.
I don't
really
think
good game. I enjoyed the whole system, actually. So I did the extended example play out of the rule booklet, but I'm actually considering playing one of the sickle cut scenarios. The only reason I haven't is because I'm not an expert on this battle, and I'm sure I'm going to be doing dumb maneuvers, and people are going to be like,
But no,
"What are you doing?"
But that makes no difference. You're playing it as you want to play. Not if you want to play it historically, read a bloody book. You're playing it,
Yeah, I mean, there is.
I got a book over here on that.
Yeah, but don't, work it out yourself. You'll know if you make the right decision.
No, I'm debating about
Ruff's not taking anything. He's like done.
Number.
Play it how you want to. It's your game, Jester.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking 250. It was 260. 260. 259 is Here Comes the Rebels.
I have that one. I haven't played it yet.
This looks like an interesting little map. Look at this. Nice looking map.
Well, it's from the great campaigns of the American Civil War.
So they are great looking maps.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It looks like a good one. I don't know much about this one, but
this is the Maryland campaign.
The Maryland?
Yeah, I like their cookies as well. The Maryland cookies. I like them.
Herman says the 7 inches systems is best operational World War II system out there, playable and still realistic. I agree. All right, number 258 is Pax Romana.
Interesting game.
Designed by Richard Berg.
Mm-hmm. It's different in that there's a Roman player, a Carthaginian player, no problem there. But then there's just a Greek player, which back then in the ancient world, there's not just Greece. There's Macedon and the different Greek city-states and Pergamum and all. So he kind of shoves them all together. And then
Greece didn't actually exist, did it, as an entity? It was all made up of different bits. Yeah.
Greece didn't exist until the 1830s.
Alexander was Macedonian, wasn't he?
What's that?
Alexander the Macedonian, was he?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
And then there's the fourth player is the East, which includes the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemaic Empire, which is hilarious because both of them are actually rivals with each other. And in the game, they're together. Now, there is a scenario that he divides them out and things like that. But yeah.
So what you're saying is it's a pile of poo?
No.
Historically.
No. It's historically, yeah, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of cool, interesting historical stuff in here. I wouldn't chuck it out. I think it's actually a decent game.
You can play it solo too.
Yeah, there's not a solitaire bot in it, but yeah, you can play it solo.
Yeah, this is not what we're talking about, but yes.
Yeah, there's not a solitaire bot. Yeah.
No. All right.
I don't know
Number 257. D-Day Dice.
You like this, don't you? You like this game.
It's not a bad game. It's not bad. I mean,
I want them. Word Forge games. I want them to republish. What they call the Paratrooper in My Pocket, wherever it was called.
Yeah.
I love that game.
And that's all the kit and caboodles there. So, all right, number 256, Burma, the campaign in North Burma in 1944.
Yeah.
I think this is part of the OCS system, right?
Yeah.
Oof. We talked a lot about OCS last week because it was all Art Wolf and Nate talking. I couldn't get a word in, Ruff. I couldn't get a word in, man.
Once you mention those 3 letters, he's off.
Yeah. Hey, it looks good. I mean, but not for me, I guess. So we'll move on.
I'm not sure it's for me.
Here's a good one. 255. Ooh. Hunted.
Oh, the Hunted. That's the one you last 5 minutes in. Yes.
No, this is the one you actually have to think. The other one you don't need to think
until you throw 12.
Yeah, exactly. Right. This is a good one. We all know that you're still the best U-boat captain out there.
Yeah, only by luck.
254, BattleTech, another BattleTech miniatures game. Congratulations. About the 75th one on the list.
It's popular, I suppose. and they class it as a war game. I suppose it is.
Game of armored combat. All right, that's 254, 253. Wings of War deluxe set. We saw this earlier, the Wings of War. This is the deluxe set. Sure. 2 to 4 players plays best 2 or 4.
Just looking at
There's miniatures in there.
Yeah. Oh, the miniatures are awesome.
They look very good. But again,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's for me.
Jester, you could use the Stukas that you have and make your own.
I could. Yes, I could.
Oh, wait, they went across the room, so they.
Well, they certainly flew and dive bombed.
They did.
Yeah.
252, the Caucus campaign.
Mm.
And Ruff, you were there, right? When Herman and we went through the list and Herman's game was on the list. That was so fun.
Yeah, it blew him away. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Caucus campaign number 252.
yes, this is the Seminich, the 40X series, basically.
Oh, is this the prelude to that system?
Yeah, it's basically it's in the system, but they weren't using the
Is it
nomenclature.
Is it pre North Africa? Because there's no Zoc bombs in that. Is this before?
This is pre. This is pre.
It's an early one, right?
2009 Charles S. Robert Award nominee. Kind of, $80, $100. Okay. And last but not least, 251. Next week we'll be at 250. Halfway through the list, boys. Halfway through the list. Cataclysm, a Second World War.
Not sure. It's supposed to be a bit of a sandboxy game. Don't know too much about it. Seen a couple of playthroughs. Didn't hit me. But then again, got cubes. Oh,
That blocks.
Yep. Not sure. That's it. That's my what I have to contribute this week. Unfortunately, we're halfway through. We're doing our 500 all the way down to 1. And I noticed a game coming up in about 3 weeks, and boy, I can't wait for that game to show up.
Interesting. All right, Ruff. So,
right,
our topic now.
A quick swig of water there, or a big glass of gin, depending on your outlook. Yes, today's topic: new to Solitaire Wargaming. Try these. The reason I picked that title, it's one of the very first. What do they call them on YouTube when you pack all your stuff together into one folder on YouTube? Playlist, yeah. My very first one of my very first playlists I ever made when I was doing these games, called it that. New to Solitaire Wargames. I know I have a brain burp. I can't say brain fart, or I just did brain burp. Anyway, games that you would recommend that you've played, because all the ones I'm going to suggest I've played, there's some I wanted to put on the list, but I haven't played them yet, so I can't really say.
Tony mentioned your favorite.
Funnily enough. Anyway, games that you could, somebody that's never played a solitaire war game, or maybe never a war game, that you would say, look, try this. You play it on your own, have fun. Why do we? I know there's some people that don't like solitaire war games. And I get it, but why I like them is it's such a great way of conjuring up a narrative, because a lot of them are very sort of tactical, down to the, maybe individual ships or subs or people, soldiers. So that's why I love them, because you can immerse yourself, you lose yourself in that solo game, which maybe you can't do quite as well with a 2-player tactical game, maybe. This is my thoughts. Your mileage, as they say, may vary. So I think we've come up with 5, haven't we? If you want to put your, they're not in any order, they're not in order of goodness. They're just 5 that I think would be good for me, good examples to say, look, try this. See how you get on. There's some games that might be a bit complicated. People putting things like RAF in and combat even. They're a bit more involved. So I wouldn't maybe suggest them as a first time. Leave a guy on or girl on their own. Give them the box and say, "Let me know you get on with it." What?
Oh, I was going to answer your question.
Go on then.
All right, you ready? All right,
Go on,
I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go.
Oh, blimey, go on. What are you doing now?
I got official like lists and
Oh,
screenshots.
what? Good Jesus. So you've played these games. These are recommendations. These are things like you could give the box, or in this case, the book, to someone to say,
I mean,
try that.
would
And
we
they're going
count
to come back and
something
go,
like
wonderful.
would we count something as like I Napoleon as a war game?
I don't want to go down that road, for goodness sake. But is it a simple enough game for somebody to say, "Here's the box, play it"? I've not played it yet, so it's not on my list. It's still in the bloody shrink wrap. I know. I'm talking.
Okay. I didn't see. Okay.
Right. Ready? This is your first suggestion, yes?
It's my first suggestion.
And what do you think of this?
It's got an interesting system. I think it's very simple, and I didn't enjoy it because it was so simple. But I think, as you said, for somebody that hasn't played, it might be something they might enjoy. They might be able to go, "Oh, I understand what I'm doing. I'm randomly determining an enemy and randomly determining what that enemy's going to do to my units."
Shall I ban him?
Yep, boot him, get him out of here.
Yeah, so while that's up and they're thinking about that, I'll get a few comments. Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Have you tried this? What do you think of my recommendation?
No.
Great one. I'm sorry I'm knocking you out, Nate. But I've never played any of
my sole opponent refuses to play
That's why I have to put up with Nordic. He's like this on our Friday nights as well.
Just ban him. Ban him.
Just get out of it. Get out of here. So some great things. Let me just get those out the way. I'll do some more in a minute.
Wait, get out of here. I didn't know my thing was still on.
Yeah, of course it's on the screen. Okay. Right. I've not played any Mr. Lambo's stuff, so I can't comment, but they are very, very popular. So that you think you can go, here we are, get on with that.
Hand him a box or hand him a book and say, go play.
Yeah, great. I mean, we've got some Holds of Pegra, which I didn't put down on my list.
Okay, well, I'm going to do mine now. So
yeah, hold on. Let me just go through a couple of these.
I love our chat, but
yeah. So I don't keep blocking you out.
I know for a while the only thing people could see was my forehead.
I know. I used to have to put up with that.
There's a forehead talking in the corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Rob. You know, you might think it's quick and easy because you're used to them. I'm thinking I've got it, and I was going to put it, and it's a little bit. Yeah, I know you're
Jester,
going through.
It's a good thing that we only picked 5 because he remember he wanted to do 10.
He wanted to do 10. I'm like, there's no way.
I know. Right. Okay.
Can I share mine now?
Let's just do Stookies. Yeah. Right.
All right. I'll take a nap real quick.
Go on. Get on with it. Good grief.
Well, I'm recommending it anyway. I don't care if it's a war game or not. Oh yeah, lock and load.
Cheers, everyone.
And I'm recommending I Napoleon.
Okay. You can give that to someone and go get on with it, yeah? And
I just have to say, I love this box cover. I think this box cover is really, really cool. Napoleon as a young man, and then Napoleon as emperor and as the shadow. I think it's really, really cool. Yeah.
I've yet to play mine, but you reckon you could give that to somebody who's never played a solitaire game and go get on with that?
Oh yeah. I mean, just the fact that it reached number 3 on the BGG.
Doesn't matter. It's a new. If you can give it to somebody and say, read the rule book and play it, come back and tell me how much you enjoyed it or not.
It's quick to learn.
Good. My one is of no surprise, really.
Oh, but we got to go through the chat, Ruff. We can't do that.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Because last time I looked, there wasn't any.
Oh man,
that is a great. Gets a bit, yeah. Right. Happy now, right?
I was thinking outside the box.
I come back and it's like you've been replaced by sort of robotic clones that don't, you're now answering me back and giving me grief, and it's not. I don't like it. Anyway,
You don't have your game pulled and ready to go. What are you doing?
Yeah,
You had 2 weeks to get ready
because it's here.
Ah,
The Hunters. Yes, it's a dice chucking table looking up in game, but because of that, it's easy. You just follow a procedure. I love this game. I love all these in the series. I think I could give this comfortably to someone and say, here, learn that and play it. The Hunters. I mean, I think we're going to find a lot of these games are, apart from my Napoleon, are set in the Second World War, unfortunately. So that's what I think. Good one.
Now,
okay.
And you've got a good chance of keeping alive because it's not the hunted.
Yeah.
They don't get killed straight away. Yeah, it's a good.
And I think part of this will come down to like when Nate mentioned I, Napoleon. I think some people will play this game not knowing anything about Napoleon and go, this is pretty interesting, and try to learn some more about Napoleon because they just played a game about him.
That's right.
All right, my number two. Now, my number 2 is a little more difficult, and Ruff, I'm sure, is going to give me grief about this. But I still think it's a great introductory war game. Yes, it's a little more complex, but it is.
Wow.
Come on now. It's not that tough. It's not that tough, you bunch of wimps. It's a great solitaire game.
It's a fantastic game, but whether or not I could give, especially if in its state now, when it comes out in the new deluxe version, but it's a 90-page rule book, and it's crikey. But it's your list, Jester. It's your list.
I would give this game to somebody and tell them. I mean, all right, maybe it's a little too complex, right? And they'll tell me, I tried it and it's too complex. Okay, then we'll go on to something. We'll go on to something a little more simple.
Well, they may say, "This is crazy. Never darken my door again with this nonsense."
Yeah, I don't know. You go away.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, mine is something I've already mentioned. The one I'm playing now, Rome Incorporated. I think this is a great solitaire game. It's very immersive, and it's cool because there'll be another game so you can play, and it will include it where you can play all the way from Augustus to the end of the empire, all the way through both games. And then there's supposed to be a third game that covers the Roman Republic, so you could play all the way from the Republic throughout the entire history of the Roman Empire.
Now, I know you're a great lover of that era, and rightly so, but is everybody as expert know? You get excited because it goes from here to here, and it includes this and all that. Would somebody who'd never played a war game, but a solitaire war game?
Well, the theme the theme is definitely interesting to a lot of people. I mean, Rome is interesting, and for a solitaire game, it's actually like I really like it in that on the map in the top left corner of the map is the sequence of play. It's just step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you follow through the rule book on how to do that. So it's very, 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 very easy. Now, by the way, I did want to say, I know you all have mentioned about, I don't play solitaire games and things like that. I was actually surprised when I was coming up with this list. I own 11 solitaire games.
What?
I know. So yeah, I had plenty to choose from. But
I know not everybody loves solitaire games. I did put in a little description. If you don't like them, come along and tell us why. Because it's all info is good info. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard that's good.
Yeah. Right. What I've got here? Oh, another dice chucky thing, and I know Jester loves this one. And I think I could give this just.
I know what it is.
Target for today. It is just There is a thing you can download from BGG, which is like a flow chart, and you don't even have to read the rules. You just follow this flow chart, look up the tables.
Roll on this table. Roll on this table.
Yeah,
Do this. Yeah.
And but again, the narrative is so strong in these sort of games for me that you've got your crew, you've named them all, you've got to do 25 missions, they get injured, they get killed, the plane gets shot. Anyway, it's I think anyway, target for today is a great. Yeah, get on, have a go with that. And here's this flow chart. Get on with it.
Interesting enough, I did not add that to my list because I had thought about that and I said, no,
I know, Stuka. I know, but
tables for today. Yeah.
I don't mind that. All
right. Are you ready for my third one?
Yes, sir.
Go on then.
All right. You're going to give me crap about this one as well?
About this as well, are we?
Oh,
in Omaha Beach.
Ruff just loves the colors on that map.
Well, no, they are great games. I struggle with the colors, and I know
Is that too complex too? You think it's too complex?
It's got a flow book with it. People have published flow books because the rules.
Well, I mean, Mr. President has a flow book.
Yeah,
But
but this is a custom. This is a fan made one. You know, you go through and go do this, do that. I'm not sure, but it's your list. It's a great game.
I'm harder on many people than you guys are.
Jester, he just doesn't like your list.
No. We're not no, shush. We're not knocking the fact that they're not great games, and they are. It's just whether or not you could give it to somebody and they get on with it. The rules for them are a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. You weren't here. We talked about this, I think, last week, where complexity versus complexity, like complexity is not really. It was with Dan and Artwolf. We talked about this. Like complexity is there's a lot of terminology that goes into complexity for a game. It's how much do you know? How much have you played? How many times have you experienced things like this? How much do you know of the history? A lot goes into the complexity of a game.
Well, and plus, like some people, when they're coming new to wargaming or solitaire wargaming, whatever, sometimes they want crunchiness. They want a lot. They don't want.
I'm thinking they want some meat to their bones
because they want something they can sink their teeth into.
If I give them Yahtzee, what are they going to say? They're going to be like, "Oh, well, this is dumb. There's nothing there."
Well, I tell you what, they're great games, but it's the only one that comes with a recommended. People say download the flip book for it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's a great game. Not great game.
Okay. All right. Well, mine back to. Subject from earlier is this one's from one of my favorite designers. So I
Herman, another name from Herman.
Oh, it's not a Herman game.
I do love Herman.
I do love Herman, but End the Napoleonic Wars from Ben Madison and White Dog Games.
Yeah, and
great solitaire game. I've played this many times. I've enjoyed it every single time. It is dripping with End the Napoleonic Wars.
Oh, I might have to get that one. I might have to get it.
It's a sort of Mrs. Thatcher's war thing.
Sort of, yeah. It's in the same series.
Great, they're great. I love them.
Yeah, it's the British War series. Yeah, the in this game you don't play Napoleon. You play everyone else against Napoleon, and you're trying to defeat the French. And if Napoleon survives all the way till 1821, then he that's when he historically died. Then in the game you've lost. But it's a great game. Tons of really cool historical.
Charming, John. Charming.
He got deck rules to.
Yeah, that'll take you a week and a half.
Yeah,
that's a good choice, that one, and William thinks so as well. Yeah.
I would agree, Stuki. Yes, without the advanced combat rules. Yeah, there's a cavalry. There's a cavalry pursuit rule where basically you can just go round and round.
Oh, see, and you guys give me crap about my list, but Nate's list is okay, even though its advanced combat rules don't work very well.
My lists are great. Tell me something I don't already know.
People only playing.
Yeah, still I think right. Right. It's me, isn't it?
It is you.
It is.
Another great game from a designer that's done a few games, mainly solitaire, from somewhere that you've heard of, Jester, and have a relationship with. And this one is DVG's Pavlov's House. This is a really, I've done a video on this, and I forget I'm videoing because Stookers come down. Go Stookers! They come down, and it's a really sort of nail-bitey thing. That it's a sort of not states of siege, what they call it. They've got their own term for them. But you've got the creeping Germans coming from you from everywhere, and you're trying to stop them advancing on Pavlov's house. I think I could give this, because David Thompson's rules.
That's the same
by David Thompson, so they're quite easy to understand. I can give this to somebody and say enjoy.
That's part of that series, like was it Castle Itter?
Yeah. I can't remember. Valiant Defense. That's it. Yeah, Valiant. Thanks, Ian. Valiant.
Do they all have the same series? Is there like a series of rules, or is each game different?
No, they're different, because Castle Itter, I didn't put that down because there's a little bit more to it. There's lots more going on. They're all over the place, and you've got to defend lots of different things. Whereas this, basically, you're defending the house. So yeah, I would recommend, if you like that sort of thing, and it is nail biting, and it's you do the old. You start going, oh crikey, I've got to push them back. Oh no, they're coming now. Oh crikey! So it's all, and there's a sort of, I think if I remember right, it's been a while since I played it. A sort of sudden death card. If you pick that, bang, game over. So there's always that in the back of your mind. So that's Pavlov's House.
All right, Jester. What complicated game do you have next on your list?
For beginners, yeah. Something to make them,
Come on, you guys are giving me ration doo-doo for nothing. I have great games on my list.
You do have great games.
They're great. That's not saying none of these games are not great. They're just
be proud to give them to a rookie and say, learn it. Sit down and get your ass and learn it.
Now I agree with you here. That was going to go on my list, and it's been mentioned a few times. Yes. Totally agree.
Okay, so you agree with this one. I'm glad you agree.
I was waiting for you.
Totally agree. Good choice.
It's a good one. I think this is an underrated game, and I think it was underrated because they only released like 2,000 copies, and then it like blew up, and everyone wanted a copy, so they reprinted it. So now you can actually get this game.
It's got a great cover. The cover looks really cool.
It's got a great, unusual topic. And you're saying me never playing Euros. This is the nearest I get to it. It's a war-themed Euro, isn't it? Worker placement, basically.
Yeah, it's a Euro game for sure. Yeah, if you play this game, you play Euros. So don't ever tell me you don't like Euros again.
Well, that's the only one. But yeah, it is. Again, they're creeping towards you. You can't do anything to stop them. It's a great game. I do.
So now Ruff likes Euros. The next thing will be Ruff loves block games.
No, the only block games I play are Jerry White's and others.
You play Skies of Britain. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's
but it's not hidden block games, is it? It's not. Anyway,
well, that's not what you said. You said the only block games you play.
Commands and colors.
All right, okay. The only games with blocks in are Command and Colors and the Skies and Storm series. But they're not really hiding any information. They're just nice, big, chunky counters, if you like.
You're right there. Yep. Mike, you're right. It's Skies Above Britain is not a block game, but
they're chunky counters. I like to call it.
It's still fun to throw it at Ruff, though.
Yeah. See what I mean? They're getting cheeky. Yeah, I know, Mike. I know.
Well, my next one is still from Ben Madison. I really enjoy his game.
Oh God.
I know. I played this earlier this year. I mentioned it on the show. Is Gift of the Nile: The Rise and Fall of Ancient Egypt. Find it.
They're also, I believe,
fascinating game.
Yeah, very small footprint as well. Got nice,
very small footprint. Yep, relatively small map. It's very easy to learn and to get into. it's a great game. Great game. And especially since there's not many games that, particularly board games, that cover ancient Egypt. I mean, there's some that are they're thematic, that like thematic Euro games, but like an actual historical game. Yeah.
That's I don't think there's many games where you roll for dysentery.
Maybe there's a King John game where you can roll if you get it.
Yeah, right.
All right, Ruff.
Oh, is it me again?
It is you.
Another game from that company that Jester loves so much, but it is, to be fair, a little bit more involved. But I love the series, and it's Solitaire Leader. Again, lots of stuff in this, lots of cards, lots of stuff. But I think it's easy enough to say, here,
Yep.
give
Now,
it a
which
go.
one do you prefer, Corsair Leader or Zero Leader?
They're both good. I mean, a lot of people won't play Zero Leader because it's those pesky Japanese, and I can understand that. But what Chuck did, who designed the Zero one, he's added some of the rules that were optional in this into the rules proper. So he's sort of embellished it a bit more for a simpler version. And I think this might be the easiest one to do. I was toying with this one. This is actually my favorite one. But again,
IDF?
Yeah, because what's going on in the world.
IAF, yeah.
Yeah, Israeli Air Force. It's what's going on in the world. But this is my favorite because it's got all the different types of planes. It's got props, jets, everything in it. So, but I think Corsair Leader, if you want to get into the series of the air games, then I think that's the one to go for.
Cool.
Because B-17 Leader is a completely different kettle of fish. It's quite complex and big and everything.
Are you ready for my next one, Ruff?
Yeah, I suppose. Let me just have a check on the old chat because they moan at me.
He has to prepare himself mentally.
Yeah,
yeah. Especially, just remember his last comment he just said.
Right.
Okay, just remember Ruff's last comment about the game because here we go. I'm sharing.
I've got it. I'll wait. You wait till I've seen what the people in the chat, who, by the way, are the reason we're here. Oh!
I would recommend B-17 Leader, but that was more difficult then. I wouldn't do that.
Do I talk like that? Yeah, but it is. And
oh my
there we
God!
go. Look,
you're killing me, man.
Not the easiest.
But if it's the best one, then maybe it's worth it. Just because something is
never played. Remember the title of the show. You know, new to Solitaire Wargaming.
Yeah.
Try these.
New. Yeah. Okay. New. I mean, okay. So, I mean, think about this. My first war game that I played was the Dark Sands, and that's not necessarily like a super easy game. I mean, it's like a medium complexity.
Not only that, what was the first game you bought when you got back into wargaming? What was the first game?
For me,
yes.
Guderian's Blitzkrieg.
No, what was it?
Fields of Fire.
Fields of Fire. Oh my God! First game.
Little did I know. I did play it. It wasn't easy, but I was determined. But yeah, I was in that frame of mind. But not everybody is, like me and Nate, are cut above the rest. So, it's gone quiet.
Well, mine, I felt awkward right then. Mine is a game. It's actually, I was surprised of how popular it's gotten on BGG, and I could, after playing it a couple of times, I could see why. And it's Global War. It's another Ben Madison game, shockingly enough.
They're nice, not too easy. They're nice, easy to understand games you can get in. There's a nice sort of flow to them.
But man, I was just so surprised of how much I enjoyed this, of all of World War II in a solitaire game. And like you have these different fronts that, you know, the Med Front, the Western Front, the Eastern Front, you have different Pacific fronts, and it's just chock full of really cool bits of chrome in there. Like you have Churchill that can go do certain things, or Stalin that can do certain things, or, you know, FDR might lose his reelection and it's a different president. And that means the United States gets involved differently in the war. You have the submarine warfare, and you have to assign convoys to go and protect the merchants. It's a great game.
Yeah, great fan of his. I mean, I've only got the one game.
I can't believe you own all those solitaire games.
I know, shocking. I still
got
got more.
on us.
I still got more.
He's closet solitaire, isn't he? Closet solitaire. I mean, Tony sent me. Tony, this is on my list, but Tony sent me that, and that's a great game as well.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Is it me?
No, we're just sitting.
It is
here.
you. Yes,
Oh,
it is you.
Oh, weirdly, let me just.
Oh, yeah, that's a
quite
good game.
chunky though.
I've never played that one though, so I couldn't put it on my list.
Weirdly, not on my list. And here's the first edition box, which they don't print anymore because this was copyrighted, this picture. This is a painting, and the artist got a bit umpy about it, and they've had to change it now. But that's the first edition. But that's not on my list because...
So you're going to keep it and wait to sell it for 20?
No. It's full of stuff, rubbish. You know, it's a storage box. I didn't put it on my list because the rule book is a little bit, shall we say, a bit all over the place. So as somebody giving it to them and say, get on with it, unless you do a bit of research, watch some videos, or you've played it before in some form or another, it's going to be a bit difficult. But this one, because the rule book's very thin, it's also not a historical war game, but it's a war game nonetheless. Space Empires has solitaire scenarios, solitaire rules, if you like, in there. You can play it as 2 players, 3 player, 4 player, but they've got a solitaire bit, a proper, not solo, a proper solitaire stuff. And the 2 and 3 expansions that are coming out have all got solitaire scenarios in them that you can play. Okay, not purely and only solitaire game, bit of a cheat. But
now,
Justin,
did you like how he snuck in 2 games there?
Huh?
Jester, do you like how he snuck in 2 games there? He's like, well, I'm going to show this one, but it's not really this one I want to show. It's this one I want to show.
To be fair, in my defense, you've been showing nothing but Ben R. Madison, Madison games all night, yeah? So I thought I'd just show you I do own one. And the other thing is...
good. Throw it back. I was waiting for you to throw it back.
Christoph was saying his first game was Warfighter. Thank you, Ruff. And I just said, well, it was going to go, if we're going to do more, it was going to go on the list.
Even hissy categories in there. I've got a commanding lead with my selections.
We might be replacing Ruff with Hissy Cat. So
you're welcome.
Good luck. I guess I'm going to stop with my last one because I wasn't going to do any more because my last one was going to be RAF, but I guess that one's out of the ballpark too for you guys. So,
man, I kind of want to get that game, but that price tag is just.
What's that? Sorry, I'm watching the chat. What was you saying? Which were you talking about?
I said, well, it's a good thing I'm not doing any more because the last one I had was RAF. And I'm sure you guys were going to go, oh my God, I can't believe that's so difficult.
Well, again, it's not the difficulty it's the rule book again, which is why Stuka had to bring out his cards, his sequence of play cards. Which
I want to hand him the game and hand him the cards.
No.
I mean, Ruff, wait a minute now. Wait, think about this. If that game was so hard to penetrate and to get into, or still, like, why is that game on its 4th edition?
Because people who love solitaire games and have played more than one solitaire game and know how solitaire games work and the rules.
But going back to our earlier conversation, though, some people, they don't want just a flyby. RAF, look at a game. They want a game that they can sink their teeth into. They want to spend time with. RAF is a good example of one.
That then possibly would be their second game. Right, you've enjoyed that. Now try something a little bit more crunchy, a little bit more to it. Try that game. Try D-Day, one of the D-Day games. Try Combat.
Fields of Fire.
No, that's down the way a bit.
That was your first game, Ruff.
I know. And
he loves it. He loves all of his games.
He loves it. And it inspired you to get into more games.
But it's something I wouldn't. Maybe I was lucky.
Here's the thing.
I don't think it's because
maybe this is a subject for a different show, but I think you're not giving new gamers enough credit. Like Nate just talked about this a couple weeks ago when he got his new game and he delved into it and he couldn't wait to get into it and blah, blah, blah. And it was over his head and he got his professor buddies to sit down and play it and this, that, and the other thing. New people that are getting into the hobby are going to want to delve in and get into it and open the box and find out what there is. They don't want to be babied. Nobody wants to play Memoir 44. For their first game.
I didn't put that on because I think.
Hey, look who's here! Blue Panther's here.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see him.
Hey,
good to see him, my friend. How's it going?
And weirdly, if we'd have carried on, I'd have put that on at all. But we didn't.
Ooh, yeah, right.
I mean, if we had moved on, this is not a Ben Madison game, but really? I will mention that I enjoy this. It's Drive on Suez from World at War magazine, from Decision. That was it's North Africa, 1942. You play as the Germans? Can you get to Egypt? And the solitaire bots, the British trying to stop you, the Commonwealth. I think it's a very, very good solitaire game. One of the first ones that I bought. When I got in the hobby.
The thing is, Mr. Butterjelly is a designer, developer, plays 3 or 4 games at once. This man has got 2 brains. We're not talking normal here. All right?
He agrees with me because I think it's a different world now. I'm telling you, it's not here's your little game. With like 2 little tokens and nobody wants to play a game with 2 little tokens.
And none of them are the ones I suggested. No, come on, you're being daft now. They're not the ones I suggested. So, yes, Pavlov's House has got cards, it's got counters, it's got different bits of the map, lots going on. Fantastic game. Corsair Leader, thousands of counters. It's got loads of counters. You've got to pick a different counter for every year. The scenarios, and you've got to I put them in bags. So you're doing a 1942 scenario, you take the 1942 bag and counters out. So don't give me that 2 counter malarkey.
And roll on a couple charts. Nobody wants to roll on charts anymore. They want to play a game. They want to play a game.
Yeah,
they want something tough. They want to learn. They want to be taught. They don't want to be babied. Nobody wants to be babied anymore.
I know you're taking the devil's advocate. You're not gonna trigger me. No, my wife tries that.
You're
not gonna trigger
Mike
me.
agrees with me. Mike agrees with me, which means you're wrong. Means you're wrong.
No, doesn't mean I'm wrong. It means I'm different. Mike 2-Brain Butterjelly is a unique human being. This man plays 15 different games at a time.
I do too.
Develops them. Yeah, but badly. I play them badly. But anyway.
Well, okay. So let me put it this way. So, yes, there are plenty of people out there who, as we've been recommending, are relatively simple, easy to get into.
That's
games.
What I wanted. So next time they go anything a little bit more oomph to it.
Right. However, that's not everybody. And I would say, I think it's an increasing percentage of people who are getting into the hobby come to war games, not for the simple, easy to understand games. They want the crunchier ones. They want the more complicated ones. They want the more involved games. And so that's why some of the games I've recommended, like Like I mentioned, like Global War, like it's a little more involved, but there's a ton that you can get into. And like another one, like here, one I didn't show earlier, but I'll show now, like the mission, it still is. It was very, very popular. I mean, Blue Tweezers, I saw his videos and he did an interview with Ben Madison on it. I mean, people were very surprised of how popular quickly this game got. And it's not necessarily a simple game, but people were interested in it thematically. They were interested in the subject. And so because the subject was interesting, it pulled them in, and it was worth the effort to go through a little bit more for the payoff that was a lot better.
Do you know what I think? I think Pavlov's House and Castle Itter are more complicated than the mission.
Okay.
So it's all relative, isn't it? And you say that people want a bit more crunchiness. I've not asked everybody on the planet who plays war games or games whether or not they would want their first war game to be crunchy if I told them to go into a room on their own and play this game. Because that's
if you had
that's the whole thing about
games on a table and said, walk in, find a game that you want to play and bring it out. If you had 50 different games and you had REF on there, you had Warfighter, you had, all the ones we discovered, which game would most people grab? I haven't a clue, because I wouldn't know, and neither would anybody else. You're assuming people would pick these games. You're assuming that people want more crunchiness. You're assuming that people don't want this type of game. You can't do that.
There is a way to find this out, Ruff, and this was
is to get everybody lined up outside a room. Look at our show 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the state of wargaming, and we were looking at a bunch of companies on what their top selling games were. And I remember looking at Legion Wargames. Some of their top selling games was Target for Today and Target for Tonight. That's not necessarily like a super easy, simple game. Well, Target for Today, I didn't even read the rule book.
Okay.
Because I downloaded this flowchart from this chap, and it just said, take off, go to table here. Now go to this. It is just table rolling things, but the narrative is there. So it's quite an easy game. There's a lot of rules. If you've got the book, the game, there is a lot of rules, and it just tells you what this flowchart is telling you. So yeah, there you go. Maybe point for me. Thank you.
Well, I think what he's saying, Ruff, is that we can get an idea of what people want by what games are being sold. And if the games that are being sold are the games we suggesting, then that means that being played the most. Well, whether they're new gamers or old gamers, are still the most popular of the games.
Right. I mean,
but we are looking at a certain niche, a solitaire game, rather than a war game as per se, that you could play solo or not play solo. So, but once again, it's great to see we've got
part of the
discussion going on, and that's we're not all concurring with each other, and it's.
But I would say
different.
I would say, going back, that part of the process for choosing some of these new solitaire games for new players or whatever, part of it is also the complexity of the game and how involved it is, but it's also the process of learning it, the presentation of, what do I do when I open that box, as a new gamer, what's the first thing that I'm going to go look at and do? So like something like Mr. President, you pull it out and it tells you exactly go to this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Mr. President is there's a little crunch to that. I mean, it is a game that I've not got into a lot, but I know that it's a great thematic game that's immensely immersive. When you open that box, it tells you exactly what to do.
But it's still a heavy game, isn't it? It's still a heavy game.
Yeah, and it hurts your glasses. It's got a 4-inch box of charts and tables and counters and sheets and information, and just to try and
it's a heavy game
and try it. It's it's going to take you a couple hours just to figure out what the hell you're doing with the box, let alone play it.
John,
And it
get a
was
bottle.
the number one selling game at
Get a
one point.
bottle.
9 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, you just need to wait 9 more minutes. And besides that, people, you should be hitting that like button because Ruff,
Oh, crikey, yes.
he's been gone for a couple weeks. He needs those clicks. He needs the clicks. The clicks.
Yeah, please smash that like button for me. I need all the help I can get, especially tonight where they're all ganging up on me, the rotters. But
We're not ganging up on you.
I'm joking. I'm British.
We have a different view, and you're wrong as usual, and me and Nate are right as usual.
That's fine. I don't mind it, but it was a discussion, and I enjoyed it. And I'm starting to see the other thing. He's been a couple of ways away in the sun. Hola in Spain. It's given me a little bit more bravado, should we say?
You were kind of overstepping your bounds a little bit tonight.
Yeah, give it feisty.
A little frisky, isn't he?
Nothing wrong with being a little feisty amongst
friends. You've got little hair growing out of his scalp and everything now. I see it. I see it kind of growing there.
I wish. Yeah. Just checking the old chat.
Well, I mean,
before we wind up,
I will say a couple more solitaire games that I have. They're all, Ben Madison stuff, but I've mentioned Global War. The World War II.
Again, Blue Panther.
His World War I version is also equally as good. It's kind of neat because there's a solitaire version of World War I and World War II. But then if you want to go play, and he mentions it in the rule books, if you want to go play the deeper Hex and Counter versions, there's Death in the Trenches for World War I and Absolute Victory for World War II. So it's kind of neat. You can choose your flavor of how quickly and how much deeply you want to get into both wars. And then the other one I have from Ben Madison that I do enjoy is the first Jihad, about the rise of Islam. Combat.
That's the designer in the chat.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. That's cool. I've not played Combat, but it definitely looks interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't put it in because it's a fantastic game. I love it, and it's.
Is it too complicated for you?
No. There's a bit more to it. Give them something, and then go enjoy Combat.
You've been dogging on Jester a little bit. I had to come out there.
I tell you, I don't know what
as you say.
He had like his Wheaties this morning or something.
Yeah, I've had me, as we say over here, I've had me Weetabix.
Well, we do appreciate Herman Lootman showing up and
Blue Panther and
Ross
Blue Panther showing up and Mike Butter Jelly and the designer for Combat. Thank you so much, guys. We do appreciate it. Well. And again, if you're just joining us or this is your first episode, we like to rib one another and we like to have a good time, but we don't take it too serious. We come back every week, and until Ruff really upsets me and I have to leave for the show.
Well, like you did a few weeks back when me and Nate couldn't guess that game.
The game which shall not be named anymore.
Yeah, dear. No,
what do you got coming up on your channel, Ruff?
Seriously, that's why we had 70 odd viewers. We're getting to Artie's numbers. It's getting good.
Wow, if we went to Artie's numbers, that would be awesome.
Numbers, yeah. What have I got coming up? I'm going to, for the rest of the weekend, playing Legendary Encounters Alien just to clear my head for Skies Above Britain on next week. And that'll keep me going. I'm on Mission Patrol 4, so there's a 4, 5, 6 to finish, and then we can decide what we're doing next. I think I know what I'm doing. Be another Legion Wargame game. That's me sorted out. Might be Friday. Might be playing a bit more live with Tony. Great Battles of History, The Devil's Horseman, which is great. It's good fun. It's got this. What?
Look at the chat. Look at Blue Panther's comment there.
I was going to mention that. Yep.
While he's unable to discuss numbers, I will say that Solitaire Gaming are the sales leader with many of our clients that we print games for. Global War.
Stilico.
Stilicho and Viva la
Spieler.
Silico, I don't have that, but I mean that is my era, so I definitely would like to get that at some point.
That's the Holland Spieler game, isn't it? So
yeah, it's in the same series as the like Wars of Marcus Aurelius, and then there's Stilico.
Yeah.
But
so, I'm surprised you haven't got those. But yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I think it's
probably next.
Obviously, we had our little bracket challenge. Remember that about 2 or 3 months ago, and we had two game systems going up against one another, and what system won it? It was Solitaire by a landslide.
Yep,
I could not believe that.
Yeah,
it outdid OCS. It did. I'm trying to remember all the categories, but it was
like grand strategy,
and tactical wargaming, which I thought was going to win for sure, but no, it got knocked out in the first round.
But it's interesting. If you watched Dan's show, he was talking about a new game company that's springing up, and they're asking for designers and all that. And one of the sort of prerequisites is that moderate complexity, that must have a solitaire part of it. Not a solo, but must have a solitaire, so they can play it solitaire as well as two-handed. So everybody is now, and with GMT and Jason Carr, he's the guy that came in to do all the solitaire stuff.
I mean, one of the first questions on any new game that I see that's not out yet on Board Game Geek, one of the questions is it solo? Can I play it solo?
What's the first question I ask you when you play a game?
Yeah, can I solitaire it?
Can I solo it? Yeah. Can I play it solitaire? Yeah, because it's so popular. But there are lots of solo games that you can play two-handed. But I hope tonight. Before we go, what are you doing on your channel, Nate? And then I'll get to Jester.
I'm going to keep playing Rome Incorporated until PhD starts kicking up a little bit more. But I don't know. I don't know yet what I'm going to do. I'm thinking something big, a big game. Maybe not a monster game, but something bigger. I went from something big to now Rome Inc. is kind of small and it's easy to manage. But I'm kind of thinking I want to go back out again and get a bigger game. So,
any idea?
Well, I already know. I think I already know which one it is. It's this one.
Invasions. I was going to suggest that.
Yeah, I already got it organized and 4 counter trays for it. So,
blimey.
Yeah, and but I'm excited to try it out because that's my area, my thing.
He keeps trying, doesn't he, to get you to play?
I don't want to take up too much time, but I almost got Julius Caesar for the sale, but I decided I'm going to try Men of Iron first, and then if I want more, then I'll go to GBO.
It's a nice lead into that system,
Yep.
Thingy. Okay, Jester, what are you up to?
It's the great debate. Like, what am I going to play next? I've got a list of 37 games, and whatever one I've get the inspiration to play. Right now on the table, I've got Lord of the Rings, the card game, ready to go. I also just unboxed Descent 2nd edition and 1st edition and the upgrade kit, which we saw before we started. And I've been debating about whether or not I'm actually going to play Holland 40. I keep saying Holland.
You keep saying Holland 44.
And I might just throw a game of Salerno out there just to get that in and get all the views before you and Tony jump in.
No, it's supposed to be, joking apart, that particular Simonich one, Salerno, everybody seems to be saying that that's the best one to start with because it's got a smaller map and there's not much, in the way of stuff to get in the way. So they say that's a good one to get into the system, which is why we're playing it. So,
what do you got coming up, Ruff?
Well, as I said, I've got Skies of Opera to finish off, and yes, we've got a couple of guys in hospital enjoying themselves too much. We'll see whether or not they get out of hospital back into the squadron, or they continue to stay in the hospital because their injuries are worse, or indeed they're so bad that they get sent home. So we
And
might.
they figured out how to fly forward in their planes yet.
Yeah, all right. I did it once. All right, put the count around the wrong way. Shut up. I mean, Nordic keeps telling me it was him and Hissy.
He keeps throwing me back in the pub, so I haven't even. I've gone out once. That's it.
Gone out once, and it was a so.
Nate's getting paid to sit there and drink beer at the pub. I guess. It's like, oh my god!
But I tell you what, as a solo game, it is probably the most sort of crunchiest of the three. Skies and Storm above the right. It's probably the most crunchiest because it's so different. But what a great game, and I can't wait now.
You got the first one.
I've got the first. I've got them all now, so I can't wait to try them. Hopefully, I'll stick at them all and everything. But yeah, that's hopefully going to be taking up the next few weeks just to finish off that.
Do you realize how many scenarios are in the box?
6, 4, 6. I can't remember. There's not that many.
What?
Oh, it's not there. It's here. Isn't it? Get stuff out.
Oh. I can't believe there's that many.
There's 4 campaigns. 4.
Oh, 4 campaigns.
There's a lot.
Well, there's just a certain amount of missions.
Jerry White.
So, yeah, Jerry White. Can't go wrong.
A lot of goodness there.
Argue with me, will you? Tired of arguing you.
Anyway, we've gone over the 2 hours. I hope you enjoyed that. Quite fiery.
It was fun.
It was good fun.
We think
this is why we do it. Yeah,
great too.
It's all done in jest, and he thinks all right, whatever. But yeah, it's all part of the show, peeps. All part of the show. Yeah, he's doing his silly thing there. He
spent too much time in that pub in Spain. Look what happened to him.
Yeah, I got a bit feisty. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope everybody in the chat enjoyed it. Thanks so much. If you haven't smashed the like button, smash it. You know, over 70 people watching at one point. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Next week it'll be. Are you hosting for Nate on your show? On your channel?
Do you want me to?
Yeah. It should be you. It should be you hosting for Nate.
I've done a couple on the trot, so yeah, I'll do that. I'll host it, and Nate will tell me what he wants to talk about. And
then, do we want to make our last announcement, or we want to wait till next week?
What's that?
The subject will be crunchy solitaire games.
I said, do we want to make our announcement now, or do we want to wait till next week?
Give him a quick announcement.
All right. We have decided before the show that we have our 5th year anniversary coming up.
Why?
5th year. 5th year. It's going to be, when is it going to be, Nate? It's your first one.
November 2nd.
November 2nd. And how many hour show is it going to be?
A 3-hour show.
3-hour show, November 5th. And what are we giving away, Ruff?
Stuff.
We're giving away.
All right. Because it's our 5th anniversary, we'll be giving away 5 games.
We're giving away 5 games on our anniversary.
Should be a long
3-hour show.
The only time we do a 3-hour show is our anniversary, our birthday show is 3, because there's so much going on. We've got so much to give away.
Free copy of Tide of Iron, baby. Here we go.
Yeah, you got enough. Well, that's your own fault, John. All right. I told you to get a bottle.
5 years, 5 hours. There we go.
Oh, man.
Oh no.
But yeah, should be a lot of
All right, so see you guys on November 2nd. Ruff, send us out of here.
All right, I'll get rid of everybody. Thanks again for watching. We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You take care, guys and girls, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, everyone.